everyone. Super exciting to be here. Who also has jet lag around here? 24 hours flight just to speak about staking and the next stage of staking, going from yield to the backbone of trust and reliability. So this is the answer. Okay, so in general, what is Lava? Lava is a network that aggregates different providers and have one mission: to give access to any chain out there, any chain of blockchain that you can create and you can read data on and on. So basically, you can think about that as a programmable access layer, right? One endpoint that every developer uses in order to build on the chain. AI agents, wallets, exchanges, all of them using this backbone that we call RPC, but nobody really talks about that. So Lava is using staking in order to make sure that there is an accountability in the chain. Every provider has to stake in order to join the pools and receive rewards. So for builders, it basically means like USB Type-C at the edge, at the front. But at the back end, there is a routing layer that makes sure every request is being performed. Every request is from the recent and up-to-date block. So we're always on. And in a few days, I'm going to speak about a big announcement of what we're shipping. But in general, there are two curves here that you're joining. There is a scale and there is automation. So when I speak about scale, Lava until now has supported more than 150 billion requests since inception. And daily is doing millions of transactions. That's the scale. Automation means that today we hear more and more about AI agents. They are not sleeping. They don't take a coffee break. So they need an always-on service. Read, write from the transactions from the blockchain. And that's what we wanted to introduce with Lava. Stake to enter. Every provider has to stake in order to provide service. Measurable quality of service. Every transaction, every request, every session is being scored about latency, freshness of the data, reliability. And this is how the providers is being rewarded at the end of the month. And the reward quality. If you, as a provider, do a better job, you get more rewards for the next session. So the developer outcome is easy. When we jumped into Web3, we had to choose among a few providers. Why do I need to think about the provider? Why do I need to enable and implement redundancy, backup, and think about, even in a nascent chains, who is the right RPC provider? So that's what we did. We built a reliable access endpoint that can rule them all and give the best practice, the best user experience for the end developer. So in short, stake, measure, and get rewards. We turn reliability from a promise into a contract. And that's the skin in the game. So, as I mentioned, everyone can join, any node provider can join permissionlessly to the Lava pools, which is a product for the foundation. Instead of the foundation choosing different node runners, giving them grants, governance proposal, they can aggregate all of them under the pools. Basically, they're taking the infrastructure budget and putting that on the Lava pools. So node runners can join, and delegators can stake to the best provider and even participate in the commissions that they get. So we've built that in the last 1 year. And we did that because a lot of different providers were failing. We just heard Austin that was in Solana. And we see like different RPC providers, 2024, even 2025, maintaining big outages on the mainnet in Europe, South America, and so forth. reputable providers, the one that we all know, are also not all the time providing the right access. They have downtime, and 2-3 weeks ago when AWS had downtime, it showed us how they are super sensitive to that. So what happens when they are down? How do you switch to a different provider? This is the big thing about RPC. No one cares about RPC until it fails. I have other examples from SUI, that SUI running most of the public endpoints in RPC, and they also experienced outage. If I'm not mistaken, it was in March, and that was because of some allocation and some node allocation memory problem. These are things that don't need to bother us and don't need to bother the developers. 1 year ago, after the product for the foundation went super well, Fireblocks reached out to us and said, we basically want to take this open source and wrap it as a product. Can you do that for us? At the beginning, we didn't really understand what do they mean. You can use the Lava RPC, it's permissionless, but obviously as a design partner, it's an amazing one, right? So we dived in, and they said they want to focus about 4 different things. The first one is interoperability. They want to plug in any provider in any chain that they support. Fireblocks supporting more than 100 different chains. If you include testnet, it's even 200. So the existing providers that they use, they want to plug and play. The second one is observability. They wanted us to develop the best friend for the DevOps leader, for the DevOps manager, the eyes of the CTO that gives eyes about the healthiness of the chain, the healthiness of the provider. How do they perform? They know that they have lock-in contract with each provider, but what is it for them? And the next thing is reliability. Fireblocks are serving more than 2,000 institutional customers, $10 trillion in assets. And how do they make sure that the end user have the right reliability? So we wrapped this up and we call it the smart router. We announced that 3 months ago, and since then we have deployed the smart router, a product on-prem or managed. We deployed that on top exchanges, market maker, wallets, and more to come. The Solana meme coin was the first big thing that happened with Fireblocks. Once the Trump meme coin went out, Fireblocks was the only customer, the only provider that didn't go down. So this made them to move around. And now I want to announce about the next standard that we put in. Sorry, it's the wrong slide. But I want to announce about smart router for foundations. Yes, can you give a round of applause, please? Thank you. Basically, you think about that as USB-C Type-C in the front and a smart green behind. Everything gives reliable access for every developer and every application. And let's see a quick demo. This is basically the dashboard that the chains receive. The foundation today are giving grants. They have 10, sometimes 20 different public endpoints. But with the smart router for the foundation, everything is aggregated under one hood. They see who is best performing. If they want to provide more grants, more governance budgets for this provider. They can also plug and play the Lava Pools top-up, which means every community member can run his own node, even if you're not the top node runner and not the top reputable one. So I see I'm running out of time, so I'm just going to go quickly about other announcements that we have. The Lava network also integrated Poly to have reliability and make sure the delegations are being distributed to the provider that excel, not to the provider that is lagging behind. Basically, it's optimized and gave a boost of 40% rewards to the delegator. And with that, the next thing I want, and I think it's a sneaky peek, I hope I'm not destroying something, but they're also going to be live, Connie is going to be live soon on Solana. Yeah, applause for Connie. I just came from a trip in New York, and we went to Boston, met with the Media Lab, and they are trying to develop now the new startup AI agents with intent. And they need one thing, they need the guardrails. So this is something that we're doing also with MIT. I will invite everyone here, node runners, delegator, builder, come reach out, and let's make one access point to the entire industry. Thank you so much.